This is Savannah Hernandez in Yuma, Arizona. It's almost midnight and we just got here. We are outside of the Cocopah Reservation, and as you guys can see behind me, we have 25 illegal immigrants that have crossed over into the US. So this is the scene right now. Border Patrol currently processing them. We have two buses over here where they're going to be transported. Again, I just got on the scene here, so I'm learning everything as I go. My first time in Yuma, Arizona, but immediately we're seeing action. Now this is the American side of the border wall, and right behind me are all of the illegals coming from the Mexican side of the wall. We already have a group being processed right in front of me of about 25 people, and people continue to pour across the border. It's almost 1 a.m. here, and we have seen nonstop activity since we've arrived about an hour ago. So this is the current scene. All right, so I'm here with Jorge Ventura of the Daily Caller. Jorge, you've been here for the past couple of days. You were here last weekend. Can you explain to us what's going on right now? I see that everyone just took their passports out. They're holding them up. Can you explain the process that they're currently going through?
So right now, the apprehension process begins for the Border Patrol. So the reason we're seeing the passports up is they actually apprehend them by country. So they separate the Cubans from the Peruvians and everything like that. So that's what we're seeing right now. It's a little bit past midnight. So typically what we're used to seeing in Yuma is seeing the crossings during the day. But the heat has been so brutal that they're actually going to be happening right now and up to like 6 in the morning. So between midnight to 6 a.m., you'll see kind of the bigger groups come in. What makes kind of Yuma also unique is the amount of migrants coming outside of the Northern Triangle countries. So you'll see a lot of people from South America, India. We'll see a lot of men from India tonight, Uzbekistan, even Russia. So right now, I think they are pretty tame. But once more of those larger groups. I mean, we were here last night, and it was just the Border Patrol agent here with the black shirt. It was just him by himself with like 150, beginning the process. So we're just getting started here in Yuma right now.
And you've been covering this for a while. What is the, I guess, mindset of Border Patrol been? Do they feel overwhelmed? What's the consensus here?
They feel overwhelmed, they're frustrated, and their morale is, I would say, probably the lowest ever in DHS history. They feel like they have no support from, the Biden administration. One Border Patrol agent told me he feels like an Uber driver now because he says, we no longer, protect the border. We just let them basically come in like they're doing now. They're literally going to get in a bus right now and then be taken to a processing center. So there's no longer any border security. One even agent who works in the same sector was like, yo, why can't we just stand right there in the gap and, stop people from coming in? He's like, but under this administration, we have to let them in. So their morale is low. And Washington Examiner just put out a great investigation piece where they talked to 8 Border Patrol agents. And one of them said he even felt like he was committing a crime because they're not even defending the border anymore.
I was saying be careful because apparently people are getting robbed on the other side. So.
Was that the first one that you heard, or did somebody else say?
No, she just told me right now. But let me ask this guy.
All right, guys, it's about 2 a.m. and as you can see behind me, we have more groups coming into the U.S. I'm on the other side of the border wall, and this has been a very active spot all night. Large groups continuing to pour into the United States throughout the night. Again, about 2 a.m. at this point, we have seen consistent activity. When we first got here, we had about 25 people that turned into 150, and then we've been seeing groups of 20 to 50 people at a time making their way across the border, some of them running because they think that they're still in Mexico and they're going to be apprehended by Mexican officials, not aware that they're actually basically on the American side. And just to give you guys an idea of who is coming here, all the different nationalities, we have some Mexican nationals that have been picking up trash along the border wall. They've picked up a couple of different currencies. So here we have currency from Guatemala. We also have Nicaragua, Russian, Cuban, and then of course Colombian. So just to give you guys an idea of who is coming across the border, these are just some of the many different currencies. We also have people from India that have been making their way across. Again, we've already seen hundreds of people so far. It's a little bit past 2 a.m. and the activity has been nonstop. All right, y'all, so we are currently standing here and we can actually hear the migrants crossing the river down this way. Now, on the horizon, we've seen so many vehicles drive down and then just stop. They're dropping people off. It's the cartels, and then they're driving away. And now what we're hearing is all of those people starting to cross the river. They're going to climb up onto these rocks. And then, of course, the border wall is right over here. That gap to get onto the other side of the wall is about maybe half a mile down that way. That's where earlier we were seeing that 150 plus group of illegal immigrants make their way into the U.S. and wait for Border Patrol to process them and pick them up. So this is just another portion of the journey that these migrants go through. And again, we're waiting for them to climb up these rocks as they continue on their journey. So we're currently making our way to where all of those migrants just came from. We just saw a group of about 50 climb up towards the border wall. So now we're making our way further in.
Hola.
Hola.
Gracias.
So we are currently on the Mexican side of the border, and we have people that are running in. They just crossed the river, I believe, and we're seeing people from India and Nepal. This is the first time tonight that we're seeing people from these countries. So just an idea of what it's like on this side of the border.
Here.
All right, guys, so it's really dusty over here because all of the migrants are making their way up that rock hill that we just came down from. The human smugglers heard us in the bushes, so they had the group come up by themselves. But this is the scene here as the immigrants make their way up this pathway towards the border wall up ahead over here.
This is the scene here. There's some light up here. Hundreds of these guys running up the brush. They're running from the brush. Up the rocks.
There are well over 200 illegal immigrants that have made their way across the southern border here in Arizona just tonight. Now, I was talking to Customs and Border Patrol, and they were telling me that this is a regular every night occurrence. We went deep into the Mexican side of the border and we watched the entire process of the human smugglers bringing people across the border. We saw the cartels. They will drive their cars down the Mexican side. They'll drop people off in big groups. The people make their way across the border and then they end up here. And again, as you guys can see behind me, we have Border Patrol that is completely overwhelmed trying to process these people. They can process about 45 at a time. And again, the groups have been nonstop. We're seeing people from India, Russia, Venezuela, Cuba, from so many different countries that I can't even keep up. So just an idea of what we saw just on our first night in Yuma, Arizona. So it's 5:15, just kidding, we're still out here. I thought we were gonna wrap at 5 a.m., but we're still out here, and Border Patrol actually left the scene, and a couple of interesting things are happening. Number one, we have a lot of migrants that are now dumpster diving. Border Patrol makes a lot of them throw away their backpacks and multiple items in those backpacks, so a lot of the illegals now dumpster diving. And then we also have people just straight up running into this field because Border Patrol isn't here to process them, so they're kind of just taking off and heading into America. So that's the scene here in Yuma, Arizona. It is 6 a.m. and we are finally wrapping up our night of border coverage here in Yuma, Arizona, outside of the Cocopah Reservation. Again, we watched hundreds of people illegally cross into the United States tonight. We were here from midnight to now 6 a.m. and this is still the current scene. We have multiple people still waiting for Border Patrol. Again, they're so overwhelmed and they're so understaffed that they ended up loading up their last group of migrants and they're taking them to go be processed, and these are the people that are left to wait. This is the scene now. So wrapping up night one of border coverage. Again, we'll be here all week to show you what is really going on at the southern border and what the media is trying to hide.